Welcome back to another What's for Dinner. I am going to be using my air fryer tonight for a French fry side. We're going to be making tacos, but I thought I would show you my learning curve of using this air fryer and making some French fries just as a side dish to go with tacos. So here we go. So I'm preheating the air fryer just to kind of get it warmed up a bit. I don't know if this is needed or not. I just do it with the oven, so I'm doing it with the air fryer. And while that's preheating, I am grating some cheese for our tacos. And I'm getting some ground beef put in the pan just to start cooking that up for our taco mix. And I'm getting a handy dandy tool, which I love, and I got mine from Pampered Chef, but it is a meat masher. We've mashed potatoes with it as well, so it doesn't just have to be meat, but I really enjoy it, and it gets the meat really chopped up good, and it's easy to just quickly wash, so I can use it frequently. So there I am, just making sure that meat's getting all broken up. I'm also getting some taco shells ready to go. We are a family that likes to eat soft and hard tacos. There's some that prefer both. There's some that prefer just hard, and there's some that prefer just soft. So we do both. I'm also making some nachos because I have a few who have requested nachos as a side with their tacos. So now that it's cooked and it's not so raw, the ground beef, I switched utensils to the spatula just to break it up and cook it up a little bit more. This air fryer is ready. It's warm, so I'm just going ahead and pouring some French fries in. I do have a helper. My husband is here helping a bit. And then I noticed he didn't put as much in, so I came in and added a bit more. But I appreciate the help in the kitchen. So he helped me there, added a bit too much, so I just took a little bit out. I don't know how full this air fryer can be, so I just want to make sure there's enough room to kind of toss them around, and it did end up being enough, so there we go. And I'm just setting it to 20 minutes, and I have it set at 390. So there it goes. And now I am just chopping up some peppers. We use these peppers for the tacos as well as the nachos, but I'm going to add some meat to my nachos, so I want to make sure I have that meat seasoned and ready to go. So I just use this taco seasoning. We add a little bit of water and then the seasoning to it, mix it up, and it works out great. Kind of simmers and makes a sauce. So back to the peppers, cutting these peppers up for dinner. The little diced peppers are the ones I'm going to put on the nachos, and then we slice peppers so that we can have peppers on our tacos. But now I'm trying to get these nachos in the oven, so I'm just sprinkling them with some cheese, and then I like to kind of toss them around on the pan so that the nachos underneath get cheesed as well. If I don't do this, then the nachos on the bottom just don't get eaten. So there you go. Sprinkled the cheese on, and then once again I'm sprinkling the peppers. I did leave some just cheese, just for those picky eaters who don't want the peppers. And then I do have some meat-free as well because my daughter's a vegetarian, so she can have some nachos but just without meat. So there we go. Just sprinkling a little bit of the meat on the nachos, and they are ready to go in the oven. And then the beef is almost ready, so I'm just giving it a quick stir and then turning it down and getting back to the toppings. So because I used so much cheese, I needed to grate a little bit more for the top of the tacos. There I am, slicing up the rest of the peppers to have as a topping on our taco. And just putting them into a little side bowl that I can put off to the side. And if I have all the colors, I will use all of them. And there they are. And so now I am getting the soft shells ready. I am just putting some on a plate. We usually do about 10. I cover it and then I just kind of microwave them to get them soft. I have a defrost button that I use. It just kind of like steams them almost. So here are the French fries. I don't know, again, if this is necessary when using an air fryer, but I would do it in the oven, so I'm doing it in the air fryer. Halfway through the time, I just give them a quick toss around just to make sure they all cook properly. And now I'm getting into chopping up some lettuce for our taco toppings. And once again, when I have it all chopped up and ready to go, I transfer it to a bowl. And there we have it. So some lettuce, some cheese, some peppers, and some tomato. Just slicing it up, getting it ready for tacos. And then your traditional sour cream and salsa, both ready to go with our cheese. And then just waiting on our French fries. Our nachos are ready. They look delicious. And our taco meat is ready with some hard shells ready to go. And there are our French fries. So everyone just kind of makes their own plate. I didn't get a finished product because everyone just kind of came up, helped themselves to what they wanted. And one thing I like to do is I just use a little bit of seasoning salt and season the French fries a bit and kind of toss them around. And they're good. I find like they're crispy on the outside, they're pillowy on the inside, and you feel good about yourself because I didn't use any oil or any grease or anything like that. It's literally just the frozen French fry. So there you go. And this night I have a helper again in the kitchen. This is what's beautiful about the pregnancy progressing is I have a lot more people willing to help. My kids help me as well, but they don't want to be filmed, so my husband doesn't mind. So he is here. He just made a seasoning rub for a roast beef we're doing in the Instant Pot. This is the first time we've ever done one in the Instant Pot, so I was happy he was willing to help. I'm just going ahead and adding a little bit of olive oil. We have the Instant Pot set to saute, and my husband is actually just going to sear all sides of the beef just to kind of lock in that flavor with the saute function right in the Instant Pot. So that's kind of a neat feature, and I use that feature a little bit later in this cooking. You'll have to stick around and see, but it really worked out. So I'm pretty sure the seasoning he put on was just salt, pepper, and some onion powder. And then he just rubbed it in. Now he's using a can of beef broth, some Worcestershire sauce, Worcestershire, how do you say that? I'm not sure. I don't know if anyone really knows. You do your best. So he put, I think it was a tablespoon or a teaspoon and a half, it looked like, in there. The can of beef broth. And you can see it's still on the saute, sizzling away there. Soaking in those juices. Getting ready to, yep, he's just mixing it around, getting ready to cook it. I need to make sure all sides Got a bit of it. Splashing a bit, but that's okay. And then we are going ahead to seal this up. You want to make sure your Instant Pot is put to seal. And then with this recipe, what we did was we brought it up to high pressure for 30 minutes. And then it kind of preheats, like as the Instant Pot builds its pressure, it's kind of like the preheating of the oven. So I left it like that, but it didn't actually need to be on high pressure. So once it got up to high pressure, I just switched it to low pressure, but all that pressure had already built, so it was in there. And then after that, I just took the lid off after a quick release once the 30 minutes was done, but it's not done cooking yet. So now I'm adding the potatoes and carrots, which is just the traditional roast beef. You can get creative. In fact, we have a few coming up that will be creative, but we were just doing a traditional roast for the first time using the Instant Pot. So basically I'm just stirring it around, making sure, you know, it kind of, they all surround the roast. And then I'm going ahead and putting the lid back on, and I'm gonna bring it back up to pressure. Now, the only thing that I would do differently next time is keep it at high pressure. So when I put it back on, I didn't switch the pressure back to high. I left it at low. And so I ended up needing to put it back on for a little bit longer just because it was low pressure. Because I could tell, like, the potatoes, the roast was cooked. It just was a little too raw for our family. So I ended up putting it back on. So I think what I would do for the additional 15 is put it back up to high pressure. And here I am preparing the beef for my vegetarian. So I'm just sauteing some peppers. I'm seasoning them. I cut them up. I just got a vegetable seasoning there, as well as the onion powder or the garlic powder. And I'm going to do some minced onion. Just dry seasoning here to season these up really quick. And then I did show you the bag quickly there. We're using the beefless beef tips for her. I think they're just like a tofu. I'm not entirely sure, but my daughter really loves this brand. So I went ahead and added some peppers to it. So she has kind of like a little steak stir fry here. Oops, a rogue pepper. But yeah, she really liked it. She said she definitely would want me to buy them again. So I'm just sauteing them with some peppers. And then here I'm going to make some biscuits just to go with the roast beef. I really should have used a bigger bowl, but as you can see by the stool, I was getting done this day. My pregnant belly is getting in the way, and it's harder to stand in the kitchen. It was just a day I was feeling super pregnant. So there I am. It's just really easy, this mix. It's just add water. You give it a good mix, and then you can just kind of scoop some biscuits out. They are sticky, but they turn out really well. You just put them in the oven, and then when they come out, you brush them with butter. And there you have some lovely quick biscuits. Say that 10 times fast. So here's the roast ready to go. Now this is after I had put it on for a little bit longer. So we did a quick release, and then it is ready. We're just taking the roast out. We're gonna let it rest for a bit while I go ahead and scoop out the potatoes. We just put the potatoes in a measuring bowl, and we made like a mashed potato out of these potatoes. And then I separated the carrots into another bowl as well. We also had the sauteed peppers for those who wanted them. And here I'm actually going to put it back on saute so that I can make this into a gravy. Now there is some onion left in here, which made it even better because I particularly love onion, so I loved it. And my kids didn't even know. There was little bits of carrots, little bits of potato. They didn't notice. I knew because I made the gravy, but they didn't, so that was really nice. And my daughter just came over to say hello. What are you doing? And I told her I was making us some yummy gravy. So the saute method, you can see it just kind of bubbles it, and then I just watched it. I didn't want to leave it too long, so every now and then I came in and I gave it a good stir, and you can see here it's thickening up, as well as you can see little bits, but it's working out. It was delicious. It was so good. So here is the final product. We've got some mashed potatoes and gravy, some roast beef with horseradish and gravy, and a bun and some carrots, and it was enjoyed. Yay for the Instant Pot. So this morning we decided to make banana bread for breakfast. So my daughter is helping. We have our bananas just thawed. Now I put them, because I wanted to do it fast, in the microwave. That's why they were pretty liquidy, because I defrosted them quickly. Of course, they smell delicious, so my daughter needs to come in and have a good smell. But once the bananas are mashed up, I always do that with a fork. I just mix it with a fork. It just is less dishes. We don't have a dishwasher, so I wash every dish. The kids help too, but I like to beat the bananas first and make them really mushy. And then my daughter was just adding 1/4 cup of butter, and then it's 1 egg. Now you notice that the butter is melted. Once again, I use melted butter every time. It's easier on the batter, and I find it's the best. And then here's a cup of sugar that I had just measured out and put on a plate so that I could get all the ingredients ready while my daughter was waiting for me. Banana bread is a bit tough, and because I just mix it with a fork, I always mix it first, and then my daughter can mix it. There she is trying to taste it, but with the flour, I put the baking soda on top and I put the salt on top. So I end up just pouring the measuring cups in, and it already has the salt and the baking soda mixed in there. So here I am just giving it a good mix so that it's not so tough. And then my daughter gets to come in and help me, which she really enjoys. But Mom's rushing a little bit because she wants to get it in the oven to feed the hungry children. So I'm letting her lick and taste. She just loved the smell. And that's really it. It's 1.5 cups of flour, and then a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of baking soda with your sugar, egg, and bananas with the melted butter. And it's easy. It's delicious. And you just put it in the oven. Now we do 325 for 60 minutes. But I did a little bit higher temperature so that it could be done in about 45. So I believe it was 375 we put it at. And I started checking it at 40 minutes, and it just needed about 45 minutes. So that was neat, but I would suggest, if you do it, to do the 325 for 1 hour. And there you go. So that's banana bread, but my daughter needed something to do to kind of wait for it, so we decided to keep baking and make peanut butter cookies. Peanut butter cookies are one of my favorites. What I am doing here is just getting ingredients ready. It's so great because it's just 3 ingredients. So you will see when I am ready to come over and make these cookies. So there we go. I'm here with my daughter, ready to make the cookies. It's 3 ingredients, 1 egg, 1 cup of peanut butter, and 1/2 cup of sugar. And that's it. It's just mix it up. They are really sticky, but as you mix the egg into the peanut butter with the sugar, they do get thicker. You see that I'm showing you it's much thicker, but they're sticky, so they turn out really great. These are my kids' favorite kind. I've made peanut butter cookies multiple ways, and these ones always go so fast. So there I am, having a little helper. Even though they're sticky, she can manage. She rolls it up and she adds it to the pan. So we just kind of work with the sticky dough until the pan is full. And then we still take that fork and we give it a little crisscross, even though they're sticky. We go ahead and make the cookies. You can see some people walking behind. There are other kids waiting for that banana bread. So now these are ready for the oven. They don't take as long. So they're about 10 minutes in the oven. And then while we are waiting for those, I thought the rest of the dough is going to go into the freezer. I have been prepping some freezer meals, but as well prepping some cookie dough for holiday baking. I do some unique holiday treats, but I also like to have the options. So there is a bunch of cookie balls for the freezer that I can bake easily. The banana bread is so good out of the oven, and there are those peanut butter cookies ready to go for the family. They turned out really great. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and have a good day.